99 hours. I think we'll be all right. I don't think
Yeah,
we're going to sit.
yeah.
I think we're going to sit here for 99 hours. So, how do you think I should bring you in? Do you want me to use your whole name or?
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Just Father
Mike.
Father Mike?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, and so I guess we'll just start off, like I said, I like to always just start off with a conversation. How was the day? How was your day?
The day, it's been kind of a nice day. It's been quiet. I was pretty much off today. Later on, did nothing till about 4 o'clock. Went to a funeral home, and I'm here with you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I know, man. It's like, I can't wait. I think it's a badge of honor to get to that point of life where you have friends that are maybe transcending into heaven due to old age. Because I think that's a gift in itself. That I feel like it's to me, it's a lot more digestible seeing somebody. Seeing somebody pass on to the other side from a full life.
Yeah, but if you want the gift of old age, I'll give it to you.
No, I'm okay. I'll earn it. I prefer to earn it. I didn't expect you to say that. Okay. All right. That's how we go through this one? All right. Cool. No, that's great. And, so who was your friend and how?
He was an old-timer in AA. He's been sick for a number of years. And it was a blessing that he went. And he just slipped away with this week. But his quality of life had pretty much diminished for the past 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I came, you go to the funeral home, you see people you haven't seen for a long time.
Absolutely.
And it's terrible. You always enjoy coming across people you haven't seen. Oh, I haven't seen you in years.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's always interesting. Every time I come across this situation in life, this experience in life, it's always one of those things where it recalibrates me to understand that this thing is fickle.
Right, yeah.
That we don't have all the time in the world. Like,
right.
Our day is going to come. So it confirms to me that thing, like, okay, let me make the best of the time that we have now.
Right.
And that's how and so I always try to look at, there's always two sides of the coin of any situation. That's the side that I like to be on and pay attention to. But it also still is sad. It's still sad because, it's, you urge to see them more.
Right.
Sometimes we don't know exactly how we feel until we don't have it.
Right.
And that's unfortunate.
Right. And coming to terms with mortality, I'm a kidney transplant recipient.
Ooh.
So when I had the transplant, it'll be 6 years. That's when I really had to think about mortality. You really don't think about dying until it becomes part of your reality.
Ooh.
And so I spent several years just, what does it mean to die? And it really gives life more meaning and more value, And now that I have the kidney, which is the only thing that still works, it makes you very grateful, for every minute and every day you have.
Yeah, and man, that's big, because somebody gave life, and that's also like, by me respecting the organ you gave me, I want to make sure that I don't just do this for me. I do this for the person that gave me that.
The person who gave me the kidney.
Yeah.
I was pastor here in Sharpsburg.
Yeah.
Was a parishioner of mine here in Sharpsburg. She came to see me one day. I knew her, her family. She
Right.
came to see me and said, "Father, I have something to ask you.
Right.
We're a match. Will you take my kidney?" I had no idea she was tested. I was just kind of overwhelmed by this woman's generosity. And I had the kidney in 2 weeks.
You serious?
Yeah. I mean, I was on dialysis for a number of years, but she came to me. I had no idea she was being tested.
Yeah.
And so we have dinner every year. We call it sitting at the kidney. We name it.
Don't tell me that. Sitting with the kidney.
Sitting at the kidney, yeah. But no, she came to me. And how do you respond to that? I was just overwhelmed. Yeah.
Man, that's humans in the best form possible. Like, that's existence. That's the way I think God intended us to be.
Yeah.
Right there. I'm with you. I'm literally, if I can give you life by giving you a piece of me, for you to continue on your journey. I love you that much. That's me saying I love you with actions, right there.
And whenever I get frustrated with people or with the cruelty we see in the world, I remember there are some incredibly good people.
Yeah.
Wonderful people who are so generous and so good that we have to remember that's the noisy crowd.
Yeah.
The haters, the mean people.
Right.
I really believe most people are intrinsically good and kind.
Absolutely, and I prefer to go into any situation with that. Even if somebody is being irate, even if somebody is being, not particularly the nicest person, I generally want to believe that person has some good in them, and they have to prove to me that they don't.
Yeah.
Right. Which is a tough position to be in. But I give everyone a chance. I don't like to come in and say, I just don't like this about that person. You know what? Let me dig a little deeper. Maybe they're having a bad day.
Right.
Maybe they may have just lost somebody. Maybe they just came from a funeral. And this is the way, and they're grieving. And at the moment, their that good energy was put towards something that it needed to be put towards. And, I just maybe got the back side of the day, the back nine of the day.
I don't know the pain in their life.
Absolutely.
How are they hurt? How are they,
Right.
What happened in their life,
Right.
And what I've learned, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and one thing I've learned in the program is tolerance.
Right.
That if I'm open to people, I'll discover wonderful things about people I would never have met before.
Absolutely.
Just being open to be surprised by people.
Absolutely. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
That's important. So we're going to talk about the journey.
Sure.
And I think this is a great time to knock it in now.
Okay.
Bring it in. I think we're going to keep the before half because that conversation is actually, I believe, people can grab value from it. So for anybody listening, for anybody watching, actually, I forgot we have both the cameras. We're going to wave to both the cameras, Father Mike. And, we're here at the 1028 podcast. I'm here with a magnificent human being. Somebody is a child of God, and a breath of fresh air every time we sit down and talk. We had our first encounter maybe 2 months ago, and I knew when you left that day, I said, I just got a friend. I just acquired a friend. I believe God put you in that moment for me. I can't wait for you guys to hear the beautiful story and the beautiful things going on with Father Mike and his beautiful organization and the church that he's running. So welcome, and grab a seat, grab some popcorn, grab a coffee if you're listening in the morning. Hopefully you're not listening at night grabbing a coffee. That's, but if you want to stay up and listen to this twice, that'll be okay as well with us as well. So let's give it up for Father Mike. How you doing, my friend?
Good.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So today we're going to sit there. We're going to talk about what you guys are doing over there at the church, as well as I would love to talk about just your journey. Like you said, you're a person of recovery, person in recovery, and still recovering through life. And we're going to talk about that whole journey and how that shaped you and got you into the position you are today. So that was a loaded beginning, but we're going to work with it. And so I guess we'll just start off with just introducing yourself and what you do.
Okay. First of all, who I am. I'm Father Mike Decewicz. I've been a Catholic priest in the Diocese of Pittsburgh for 44 years. Up until 3 years ago, I was in a parish, and for the past 11 years, right here in Sharpsburg. I was the Catholic pastor right here in Sharpsburg. In 2005, now, growing up, my father was an alcoholic, and I, of course, like large number of alcoholics, swore I would never be my father. Well, I became my father. Okay, but I didn't drink in high school. I didn't drink in college. My drinking became alcoholic, I would say, in my late 30s, early 40s. When I was 40 years old, I was assigned to a small parish in Greene County. It was the first time in my life I ever lived alone. I really didn't have the skills to live alone. And that was when I really started drinking alcoholically. I'd have a drink before dinner. Well, that turns into 4 or 5 drinks before dinner, and it was difficult. I was lonely. It was a very small parish. Then I was moved to a very large parish.
Right. And
I felt totally unprepared. I felt totally unable to do that job. So now the drinking kind of masked over my insecurities and my fears. So I was out one night and I completely blacked out. I don't know what I did, but apparently I did something because I got a phone call from the diocese saying they wanted to see me.
Okay.
Well, I was out to dinner. I guess I blacked out. I got drunk and made really a spectacle of myself.
Okay.
And that began my journey into recovery, which has been the most incredible, wonderful journey of my life. I look now at my alcoholism as truly a gift.
I believe that 100%.
Yeah.
I believe that. Me being a recovering myself, being a recovering addict, a recovering alcoholic, I am so grateful for the experience because the tools that I've gathered in that moment. I'm sorry to cut you off.
That's
but
okay.
When you said that, it hit me in the heart. I was like, darn right. That's absolutely right. It's a gift. And I'm sorry. Let's continue with the story. Why do you feel like it's a gift? What did you learn from it?
When you get in those rooms, first I'll tell you about my first sponsor. He's passed away now.
Yes,
and,
please.
He's doing the 12 steps. You have a sponsor that helps walk you through the programs. This guy I absolutely loved him. He was an opinionated, cantankerous, miserable old Irishman, okay? And I absolutely adored this man. But he was exactly what I needed when he was there.
Right.
His lesson to me was sit down, shut up, and listen.
Which is that's something that mentality, that environment is something I feel like at first when I experienced it coming into AA, scared the crap out of me. Like, who is this old guy? Why are they telling me to shut up? But it was the only way I would listen. They are truly the nicest people.
Yes.
But they understand that this type of conversation is the thing that cuts through the skin first.
Yes.
And it's the only way that they can gain your respect so you can receive the message.
They cut through that. They cut through the ego,
Yeah, they cut right through the ego.
Cut right through the ego.
Right.
And so, now I'm going to go to recovery, okay? Now, I'm a Catholic priest.
Right.
So the level of shame I have is unbearable, okay? I go into my first meeting, a place called the Camel Club. Have you heard of
I've been there. Of course. Okay, that is my spot. I love it.
Which is a tough place.
You prepare. You got to prepare to go in there. You can't go in there with any bullcrap.
No.
They will call you on it. Oh, man. That's legendary.
Yeah. I was so terrified. So I spent the first 6 months hiding in the corner,
Yeah.
Slowly, I began to be integrated in that group, and then with my sponsor, I started going to his home group. But I always tried the Camel Club for the beginning of my sobriety because, there's excuse my French, no bullshit with them.
No bullshit at all.
They're not going to take any crap, and they're going to call you on it.
Yeah.
And I remember I'm terrified. One of these days I'm going to come across somebody who I know in AA,
Right.
And I'm a priest, I'm a parishioner.
Yeah.
One day I walk into 2 parishioners there, and I'm humiliated. And my sponsor said to me, well, you might have fallen out of the bar, were you? So why the hell are you humiliated about that?
Oh.
He'd been right.
Yeah, he's absolutely
right.
Yeah.
Your ego gets knocked down, and then you meet these incredible people. You're sitting there. There's a judge here. Yeah. There's a homeless person here.
Right.
You learn from every one of them. You begin to learn tolerance. That we're different, and that's wonderful, and that's okay. That being different is a blessing. And in those rooms, I think for many people, you come across your first functional family. These people love you unconditionally. You don't have to earn their love. You can't lose their love. They're not going to judge you. In those rooms, I am convinced miracles happen often.
Miracles happen once you step foot. Once you step foot in there, you are giving yourself life.
Yeah.
You were giving yourself life. I got chills right now because I'm thinking about throughout my journey through addiction and the loved ones, the ones that loved me so much that they would just give me money not to see me in what I would appear to be as in pain, and which means just kind of playing to my addiction. Like I know if you feel sorry for me, they'll give me money. They love me so much they just couldn't say no to me, and their love became something that enabled me. But I as I go through recovery, as I was in there, I realized like, man, the people that love me the most, I done the worst to.
Yeah.
And going to recovery was, for me, the kiss on the cheek to them. It's like, all that time that you believed in me, absolutely needed that love, and I'm thankful for you. And this is where I just want to say thank you to my wife. I'm sorry, this is just because I just want to appreciate you. You're igniting these feelings, and I just want to say thank you to her because people like that just. I don't know. Just we're gonna continue to go forward. We're gonna get into that, but you just got me. You got me in my bag right now. You got me in my bag, and I'm loving this. And for those listening, this is exactly why I have Father Mike on, and this is exactly what these guys are doing. So let's continue to talk about the Camel Club.
We will. Okay, so I go to the Camel Club, and I decide I'm in this parish. I have a staff. I decide to call the staff and to tell them that I'm an alcoholic. Which I'm terrified. I'm thinking this is going to be great big news to them. Right. I'm an alcoholic. And I said, I'm an alcoholic. And they said, yeah. They knew all along about an alcoholic. I thought I was being so good at hiding it, you know?
Yeah.
And you were talking about people you love. I mean, the people in that parish walked with me in those early days of recovery.
Right.
I had a young priest assigned to me for that first year in recovery who I think is a saint. Mm-hmm. He just simply was a there. I came here to Sharpsburg, and I have never met people so giving as the people in Sharpsburg.
Yeah.
I love this community.
This is the community. This is the reason why. This is a big part of my recovery is being in this town. This town is built. It was an environment built for me to thrive in because of the love. Because of the love.
There's something special in this town.
This was the key. This was one of the keys.
There is something special in this town. There really is. When I was here in Sharpsburg, I just left 3 years ago. I had gone through a kidney transplant. I was on dialysis, and these people just kind of rallied around and carried me.
Yeah.
They just kind of carried me and celebrated with me. So I will never be able to pay back the debt I owe to Sharpsburg.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the work that you're doing now, I think that is, that's the residual of the love. You know what I mean? It's like they loved you so much that it's like, you know what, I have to give this back to the world. This is something that needs to continue. You're paying it forward, Let's talk about some of the work that you're doing. And you know what, before we get to that, there was something that you did mention about the Camel Club.
Yeah.
When you're saying, I got a judge on this side and I have a homeless man on this side, right? The beauty of going into those rooms and seeing all walks of life. It doesn't matter how you grew up or where you grew up or how much money you have. This is something that is something that is more common than what you would think. The way you're feeling is not because of, the way you grew up or these other things. It all stems from one issue and maybe just indulgement of this thing. But there's a lot more other issues. But I'm just letting you know that you're not alone, and it doesn't matter. That person that's on the top of the hill is dealing with the same issues as the person at the bottom of the hill, and we are more alike than we are different. And I just want you to know that. I just want people that are listening to know that, because that was a big issue of me, thinking like, it was just my problem.
And when you walk in those rooms, we say treat everyone equally. Mm-hmm. You go in those rooms, it really happens. It doesn't matter in that room if you're black or you're white, you're gay, you're straight, you're an atheist, you're a believer. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Everyone walks in that room broken. In that room, they can find healing. And in those rooms, you really learn tolerance. You really learn not to judge by externals. That a person's a person. And if you're a person of faith, our mission is to be ambassadors of God's love, not arbiters of judgment.
Absolutely. So, speaking of faith, speaking of being a father, let's talk about some of the programs that you have going on at the church as well.
Well, it'll be 4 years this February when, if you're familiar with what's been going on here in Pittsburgh, and the Catholic Church of Pittsburgh, we've been reorganizing and organizing things. And I thought, at this point, I don't want to be a pastor in these new congregations. Since I'm a recovering alcoholic, I wanted to give something back. I had started that here in Sharpsburg. We used the building here for meetings.
Right.
I wanted to expand on that, so I sat down with some people who I know, and we brainstormed. And we came up with something we called the Addiction Recovery Ministry. And our mission is to give hope and healing to those who are suffering with some form of substance use disorder and those who love them. So we provide a space here in Sharpsburg, and I live in Harmer, St. Francis in Harmer. We provide a place in Harmer for 12-step meetings. We provide grief support for those who have lost someone specifically to an overdose. That's a very unique niche. Even superfluous or suicides. Yeah. These people have another level. The one meeting we had, the one person got up and said, when I got the phone call that my son had OD'd, my first reaction was relief. I knew the call was coming. I didn't know when. And he slept that night. And oh my God. He said, I can say that in this room because you all know it.
Right.
They knew that feeling. That statement enough made that whole group worthwhile. And then we do something called 6 Steps to Sanity, which is kind of like an Al-Anon, non-Anon group to help people, with loved ones who are suffering with an addiction.
Right.
I do ongoing presentation. I do a presentation every Monday for 10 minutes on the steps and the traditions. I do a reflection once a month. We did a panel discussion. We're going to be going right here. I can't say the word.
At TT Studios on 1020 North Canal, Sharpsburg, PA. So we're going to have a grand event. It's going to be massive, and everyone is more than welcome to experience this energy and experience this opportunity to be around people like yourselves, people in recovery, people that are, even if you're thinking about getting into recovery, this is going to be a great time and a great example that expresses exactly what's going on with Father Mike and his organization and the church that they're running over there, doing special things. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm sorry. I just went off.
And I want to be a celebration. Every time we talk about addiction, it's a downer. This is not. This is a celebration of recovery.
Yeah.
It's going to be a positive experience, not a woe is me experience.
Father, I think every time that you get together and for this reason is a celebration it's a celebration of life, and what we're doing is having the conversations that moves us forward in this celebration, and so we can come back for the next one.
Right.
And we celebrate the fact that we made it through this week, we made it through this hour, we made it through this minute or this second.
Right.
And that's what it's about. So these meetings are more of a celebration of you wanting to be a better person, or me wanting to be a better person than I was before I came in, or I want to continue to be this great person. Every meeting's a celebration.
You begin to really see how precious and how wonderful life is, and how fragile life is.
Yeah, it's fickle.
It's all together. So with this ministry, we decide, what can we do concretely? Right. So I know people at Gateway Rehab, so we partner with them. Mm-hmm. We have a scholarship fund. We give the Gateway Rehab. So when someone comes out of rehab, there's holes in the system.
Yeah.
We try to plug those holes.
Okay.
We'd like to pay first month's rent out a 3/4 house. Bus passes are really popular to fill those holes. Then we also collaborate with Light of Life Missions, and we provide lunches on a regular basis every month, about 150 lunches a month to feed the homeless. Those are tangible things, brick and mortar things that we can do.
Right.
But it's about education, it's about spirituality, it's about outreach, it's about hope. It's about taking our brokenness and moving to hope. We're all broken.
Every last one of us.
And the greatest gift God gives us is our brokenness.
Absolutely.
That's where we discover God's presence and our own power as individuals and as a group. And the one thing I say in recovery, which I think is wonderful, you need your we. No one recovers alone. No one lives life alone. We need to build a community. And that's a lot of what I'm trying to do here. The last thing we need is more programs.
Right.
We're trying to build relationships.
Oh, say that one more time. The last thing we need is more programs.
Yes.
What we need is more community, more relationships. This is that place where you can come and you can make that call to that person that's going to talk to you like a person, and not that I've been assigned this person.
Right.
You're not the number. Like, you ever go into a doctor's office and you expecting, like, all right, man, they're going to really care, but you're number 45 of the day, and they treat you like number 45. Where I like to go into places where it feels like this is the first conversation you done had all day. I'm excited to hear from you. Let's have another celebration on this phone call of you doing the right thing and actually going in for yourself, you know?
Yep.
And that's what it feels like every time I talk to you. It feels like a celebration of, that I made it today, and I'm talking, and this is a good way of us to analyze how we can make it tomorrow as well.
And building a community, what we're trying to get more and more people involved. Trying to build a community around recovery. Yeah. So what we do is we pack these lunches for Live Life. Yeah. So I have a whole bunch of senior citizens, ladies from here in Sharpsburg, a person of mine, who come up once a month to Harmer, pack the lunches. Okay. They feel they're a part of this. They come. People drop off food all month long. Right. So these people feel they're a part of this. Right. The more I can build out, the more I think we can embrace in. So this ministry is about all those things, but it's about building. It's about enhancing a community of tolerance, respect, and hope.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That makes absolute sense. I think that's absolutely beautiful. How did so you said you were in Sharpsburg, and this is another question I have, right? Because not everyone in recovery is what we would say somebody who believes in Jesus Christ. Right. They may believe in Allah. They may be into Buddhism. They may be an atheist.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And I feel like sometimes the programs being at a church is sometimes intimidating.
Yes. Yes.
So is this more so about recovery, or more so about faith and religion? Or is there a nice balance in between?
I like to think it's housed in church facility in the basement, the meetings in the basement. Right. I don't know how familiar you are with the Catholic worker movement. The Catholic worker says, if someone's hungry, feed them.
Okay.
If someone's naked, clothe them.
Okay.
Let God do God's business.
Okay.
Let me do my business. My business. If you're drunk, you want a meeting. Here's a meeting. You need a loaf of bread. Here's a loaf of bread. I don't care. I don't care if you worship Dumbo the clown.
Okay.
If you're hungry, you need fed.
I love that.
That's what Jesus did. If you're a Christian, that's what Jesus did.
Right. Yeah. Well, I love that because that is a stigma, and I believe, right. But I believe, sometimes that can be used as and I have myself used it as a crutch. I'm not going to talk for anybody else to talk about it for myself. I myself have used that as a crutch. Oh, they're going to try to convert me. They're going to try to do all this and that, which I also used as another way not to get, because that's just, it's me fighting against me. But realizing, going to certain programs similar to the one that you guys are holding, that it is really about one thing and one thing only, and that is the person in the mirror getting what they need, getting their soul fed, getting the self fed, so they can they can be nurtured to make it to tomorrow. And that's through addiction, through joy and happiness, through peace, through understanding. Like you said, this is the first time I've ever heard, not ever heard, but heard of, like you said, for a parent that may have lost a child to not just addiction but suicide.
Yeah.
And getting all in one space, there's so many people suffering in silence, and that's not where you find. You mentioned something last time we talked, that you have to. It's almost like what you reveal, you heal, but right. You're not going to find this way of life that you're seeking in silence.
Right. I'm absolutely convinced. No one can recover alone, and we can't live life alone.
That was
we just can't live life alone. I don't know why talking about it helps. Yeah. I don't know why, but you go to a 12-step meeting, nothing's accomplished. People tell their story.
Right.
They share their problems, but it works. I think, maybe it's our culture. We are so obsessed with knowledge, with answers, with empirical proof. We forget mystery. We forget that it's okay to live in the question. It's okay not to have the answer. We spend so much time looking for the answer, we miss the grace. You know, it's like when we were kids going to Kennywood. You know, you'd be so excited going to Kennywood.
Yeah.
Going to Kennywood was much more fun than actually being in Kennywood.
It is like the idea of going.
Right.
Yeah.
You wouldn't sleep the night before. So now, you know, and I think we want the answer so much we miss the opportunity to live.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I think of it like this is weird, but you know, it's like magic, right? All magic is the sleight of hand. We are so concentrated on looking on the outcome of the trick, like what's happening on the very end of it, that we don't even see what's happening beforehand. We only see the outcome. So, you know, you may see this rabbit appear, but there were so many things that happened to make it appear, but the only thing we're concentrated on is the outcome of the trick and not how the trick was done. So the sleight of hand is really the importance. It's also another way to explain it is, you know, I look at programs like yourself, what you guys are putting on, as practice, right? You don't go into a game without practice. Like life, if you want to look at it, life is you under the lights. This is where you develop the skills to perform out there when you're under the lights. You know, you're looking at a lot of people that, they're in recovery. I want to be in that position. You were seeing us in the game, but the work that it took us to get there, to practice that we had to go through, which was beautiful, and it is beautiful. Is beautiful. Even in that moment, it's hard to sometimes capture the beauty of it. But as you go through on that journey, you start to look back and like, that it excites me. And you know, I've been dealing with the problem of not attending to my recovery. You know, and I want to get back into it. What would you say to somebody who's maybe in recovery, still has the sober date, but has kind of fallen off of the routine of going to practice, I'll say, or going to, you know, AA or to a program like the one you hold? What would you say to somebody like that?
Playing around the edges.
That's what it feels like.
I was there. Okay,
it feels like that.
I had a perfect excuse. I was on dialysis. I was sick. I was tired, so I didn't go to meetings.
Right.
I had a perfect excuse. I didn't drink again, but I felt disconnected.
Yes.
Disconnected from myself, basically. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, it's very easy. I'm too busy. I'm tired. I'm not feeling good. The kids are sick. My wife's, you know, there's good excuses not to go.
Right.
Get your ass off the chair and get to a meeting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, because I'm sitting here talking with you, and this is like, it's exciting me. It's exciting me because I don't even look at the meetings as something that just stops me from doing doing drugs or drinking alcohol. There's so much more to recovery, where it's the mental aspect. It's one of those things, because I know how tricky this thing can be, where you know, my addiction is one of those things that can set me up in February to knock me down in like August. You know what I'm saying? It's those little things that can build up, and sometimes we develop this hubris of, you know, because I haven't drank in 4 or 5 years, that I'm also like never going to drink again in my life, and came across certain situations where it was like down to the brim, and because I forgot the fundamentals, and also like I tried to forget about it like it doesn't exist, but it does. And it'll speak, man. It
does.
So
I remember I was out with a friend that was maybe sober 4 or 5 years, and we were having lunch.
Yeah.
And he asked me, would it bother me if he had a drink? I said, it wouldn't bother me at all.
Right.
Matter of fact, I like smelling it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he said to me, how do you know you're an alcoholic? I said, well, you're having that Manhattan. You know that's your last one.
Absolutely.
You know you're going to put that down and go the rest of the day. I don't know that. But I might be at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, people like me don't know. Yeah. Once you take the first drink, you're out to the races.
Yeah. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts
about it. People call you on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And that's it, you know, because like let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, marijuana is something that now is legal.
Yeah.
And throughout my recovery, I was still like dabbling into marijuana because it was considered not a drug. This is the beginning of my recovery. I found out that this was a problem later on. I was like, all right, well, I can use that, and some people may be able to, but me personally, it's just it literally is one of those things where it's like, oh well, I could do this, and it alleviates me. I push it forward, and I'm an A to Z guy. There's no B, C,
Right.
D.
Yeah.
You've heard that,
No,
right?
no.
There's no
All or nothing.
Yeah, it's everything or nothing, and I realized that about myself. So I'm better off with just being solid with nothing, because just the little things I tend to take advantage of, and I will go completely all the way back to that,
Right.
to that Z. But I realized like that's a common trait. That's a common trait in me.
We're addicts. We'll do anything in moderation.
But this is the superpower,
Yeah.
right? So now what I did is, because that energy doesn't go anywhere, I adjusted that energy to positive things, right? So now I'm like, oh, I'm gonna read. I'm gonna start reading. I'm gonna start this business, right? I'm gonna start doing this, and because I'm one of the people, when I start something, it continues to grow till the fact I can become consumed in it. I consume myself into learning about business and just use the same feelings, the same movements that as hard as I would go for the drink or as hard as I would go for the drug, I found out that I do go that hard for something that I care about. So I just start caring about like my family and like learning about business. And I literally took that energy that a lot of people that never dealt with addiction don't know exists, and was able to use that energy to like, it was like, oh man, thank goodness I was an addict, so I know how to love something to the point where it can like just be completely indulged in it. I literally used those skills that I learned to literally benefit. It's so weird, but those out there that know, like you can literally, that energy, if you go that hard for something and you go that hard for something that's actually beneficial, you will be on top of the world. I believe the smartest businessmen, the smartest and the most ambitious people are people of addiction. And because it's like you may only bring in $12,000 a year, but still able to have $100,000 addiction or a habit, and being able to accomplish it. So your strategic thinking is at a certain level and certain other things. And if you would transfer that over to business, your strategic thinking, your ability to mold a situation into your will, you'll be extremely successful. And they won't know what hit them in that industry. That's just my little side note. But let's get back to it, Father.
And build on what you were saying, you're absolutely right. What we're doing now is addiction recovery ministry. This is kind of like my passion. I mean, I was in a parish, in a Catholic parish, for 40-some years, okay? Mm-hmm. And so I had this institution around me that, there was a support. Yeah. There was a support system. And when I decided to step out, and no one's ever done this before, the way I'm doing it right now, okay? I'm not part of the diocese.
Right.
I'm my own 501c charitable organization.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah. And I've gotten some grant money.
Right.
So we're kind of forming something that's going along. And how it has come about, I am still amazed at how this has happened, okay? I put a board together. People came to me for this board. I have some incredibly gifted people on this board.
Okay.
I didn't know these people 5 years ago. There's this church in Harmer, this little tiny church with Light Hall right in the main road. Somehow I'm renting that from the parish, or this facility. All these things are just falling into place, okay? And it amazes me. I'm surprised every day about it. I'm surprised every day. And I'm not disciplined at all, okay? I'm not disciplined at all. So I have my administrative assistant. Okay. Some of you would know her. She says, walking behind me is like walking behind an elephant, because I just throw out these ideas.
Yeah.
And I don't do details at all.
Details is not your thing.
So
no.
Poor Rosemary, she puts together everything I say.
Shout out to Rosemary. We love you. You are absolutely a gem. I got a chance to sit with her. She's amazing.
She makes sense of what my ideas are.
Yeah.
But it's your passion. You find your passion, and you embrace that passion. You live that passion. And if you're struggling with an alcohol addiction, a drug addiction, you don't do nothing in moderation.
That's it. No, nothing.
No,
nothing. It's just not in your DNA. It's just not, and that's okay. Accept that. But you can also adjust that to something that's so much more beneficial. If you put that energy into your recovery, yeah, you can consider that done. We want some. We get it.
Yeah. Live your passion.
Yeah,
live your passion.
Yeah, live your passion. I think that's absolutely amazing. Is there something that you would like to say to anybody else listening? Absolutely. I feel like we should do this probably again in like 2 weeks. I think this is something that we should probably keep going.
Fine. With me.
If we could put
I'm
out
retired.
there. I know that's right. Well, kind of. I think you're working more now than you ever. You're doing more work now than you probably ever have. And shout out, and like you said, Rosemary is a big part of it because you said it earlier in this conversation. The power of we. Right. If you can do something, imagine this. If there's something that you can do, a goal that you set, and you can do it all by yourself, I say this to everybody. That means you're not dreaming big enough.
Right.
There's a ceiling to that. You bring in like-minded people. You bring in people that are going towards that same goal, and you create, like you said, a community, not a program. This is a community here, and you got a community of people like that around you. For the things that you don't have, they have, and they're willing to give it to you because you have the things that they don't have. And when you put those together, you have this beautiful mechanism that is that operates and brings everybody growth. Like we are who we are when we are together. Like it takes a we. It takes a we, not a me. That's what we're trying to say here. Once again, shout out to Rosemary.
It takes a we. If you think of a quilt, what's a quilt? It's a bunch of rags. Okay.
Right.
Different sizes, different shapes, different colors, different textures. It's just a pile of rags. Once it's stitched together, it's something beautiful and useful. By itself, it ain't nothing.
It's just a piece of cloth.
Yeah, piece of cloth.
But when you
stitch them together, they're beautiful.
Oh, that's a gem. So let's I guess we can close up this setting.
Yes,
so if there's anything that you would like to say to anybody listening, maybe a call to action, you know what I mean? So we can
There's one thing I do. I just heard this last night at a meeting.
Come on with it.
And I think for anyone who's in recovery, I heard this last night, and it meant so much to me. If you're in recovery, life isn't going to get easy, but it will get better. I think that, Roy, when you're in recovery, you have those moments where you're white knuckling it, and life still happens. There's still sickness and death and poverty and violence. That's still there, but it gets better because you learn how to live life.
There's no better way. There's no better way to end it than with that.
Thank you,
Father Mike. Well, this is the first time, not the last time. I think we need to really make this more of a common thing.
Right.
And I hope everyone out there that's listening, anybody that turned on this podcast or is watching this through any Facebook, social media platform, that you've grabbed something that you can take with you and make it through this moment, that may be tough or may be hard. This is the 1028 podcast. I'm here with Father Mike, and any information that you're looking for should be right below anything that this video is playing on, so you can get in contact with the ministry. You can get in contact with Father Mike and his team, probably Rosemary, not Father Mike. But if you talk to Rosemary, she can get you into contact with Father Mike, because like we said, teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Father Mike, for everything that you do in the community. And this is probably going to happen again very soon. So just stay tuned, my guys.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Go out there, do something beautiful. The world's counting on you. This world is our blank canvas, and everybody take your brush and go paint away, and so we can create a masterpiece doing what we do. with the way that we do it.
This guy's an inspiration.
No, you're the real inspiration. I'm trying to be like you when I get older. That's a real thing. That's a real statement. All right, everybody, we're out. Say bye to the people, Father Mike.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. Wow.
That was fun.
Oh, I told you this is fun. I think the way you sound, even just coming through there and your emotions, this may be the key. You know.